Hey everyone, before I get started, I just want to remind you that if you like my content, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and then join the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community by clicking the link in the caption. Hey, good evening everybody. Militia Man and Crew on a Sunday afternoon. Just want to say hello and hope everybody had a wonderful day. It's fascinating is that here we are in the Northwest, and it was cloud cover all day, first time in many, many days, and then now the sun's peeking out, so it's a great day. Been awesome. Hey, look, we all know that Iraq has been dealing with the United States of America on many things. And we had the development fund for Iraq, we had the Paris Club from 2003, 2000, etc. You have the United States Treasury involved, Federal Reserve Bank involved, and many other countries involved. I mean, collectively, the Paris Club, delineated somewhere around 80% of their debt in Iraq. So look, everybody's been engaged, and if you think back to al-Abadi was the prime minister. Interestingly enough, if you go back and do your research, you'll find that he was instrumental with the United States in getting this stuff done, because to be fair, I don't think any one of us would be here right now having these conversations for the last couple of years about what Sudan is doing if it wasn't for the fact that Iraq never filed Chapter 7, literally, bankruptcy, etc. They gave them some grace, and so that's why they solicited other countries, etc. to get rid of that debt. And it worked, and here we are. And I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for all of you, the viewers here at Patreon with Militia Man and Crew. I'm very grateful for everybody in my Discord chat room with Militia Man's chat room. That's what it's called. And I'm also very appreciative of all you people out in the YouTube realm. Thank you very much, everybody. And I do appreciate all the Zelle, the Venmo, and PayPal donations. It helps us as a team keep moving. So thank you. And that's a reflection on you. So please, thank you very much and keep them coming. Greatly appreciate it. So here, look, you guys, not to be, Militia Man and Crew, or really not political, but here, unfortunately, these guys put me in a precarious position because who's communicating? Well, in the last week or so, we've seen communications between the United States and Iraq, and on a political front. Congratulations have been said, because we have a new president-elect in the United States. But keep in mind, on both sides of the aisle, this study that we are on has two sides, because we've effectively had two sides to the United States. And it isn't anything new. The process of support from the United States with Iraq has been 2 decades. So it's one administration after another. So keep that in mind. So it's not credit for any specific person or anything like that. Timing, of course, it's interesting. Was it connected 20 years ago? No, of course it wasn't. Because we know that Iraq has come a long way in all things. We didn't have the digital technology we have today. We didn't have the blockchain ledger information that we have today. Didn't have that. Was it necessary then? Maybe not. We thought this was going to go, but all of a sudden ISIS reared its ugly head, etc., etc. There's all kinds of different things. So, aside from that, the United States President-elect Donald Trump, he was congratulated by who? Sudanese calls him, congratulates Trump, the American people, everybody. That's the American people. He's not talking to anybody specific. On the occasion of winning the election, and their great trust given to the American people for that, because the American people spoke. I think the globe sees that, just like they do in every administration. They see that we spoke, right? So leave it at that. So according to this article, it says Iraq, United States, the two sides stressed the desire to continue the strategic partnership between the two countries and strengthen bilateral relations in a way that go beyond the security aspect through close cooperation in the fields of, these are key points, you guys went over it last week, slightly different, but still the same meanings. The fields of economy, money, energy, technology. You could insert finance if you want, that's fine. Money, finance, okay. Okay, so included in this commitment is they're talking about end of wars. That's all good by me. I think everybody in Militia Man and Crew, and I think all of you probably would agree, having unwarranted wars is not a good thing. It just doesn't. It's not. Okay, another topic. But listen, past, present, future relationships with Iraq will be ongoing. So the past is the past, the present's today, but the relationships will still keep moving. The recent meetings with al-Sudani in Washington went well in the past, so prior to this new elect, okay? They all went well. Okay, so now it looks like there'll be more meetings in the field of economy, money, and energy with the next administration. Okay, Iraq and the USA work together, and they have in the cessation of conflict. If they can, if they can get that done, nothing wrong with that. Move forward. Let's do business. Get rid of the war. A lot of money wasted here in the United States and many countries of the world have a lot of poor, a lot of things that need to be done. Fighting costs a lot of money. I'd rather feed people. That's where I come from. I think that's where everybody in my crew come from. So, look, getting together to work in those fields that they mention: economy, money, energy, and technology. Technology is a big thing. I don't know if you guys pay attention much, but if you saw some of the technology stocks, or not cryptos or tokens or whatever you want to call them, right? I call them shares. They took off this morning. It's on a weekend. See, that's one of the things about the blockchain technology that's going to be happening for cross-border payments. It's 365 days a week. Okay, 52 weeks a month, etc. 24 hours a day. They're going to have money movement without any interruptions. So it's not the stock market's closed, it's not this, it's not that. Financial transactions are going to take place around the globe, literally at all times. And the reason why that's huge, the relationship of what we're talking about is important, because Iraq and the world and the money movement, the digital environment, the digital transformation that the world's gone through, and Iraq is catching up, other countries are doing the same, is important, because they're going to have a level playing field, and they're going to have it in a manner that they can communicate. And that's where this is what we're seeing now. And I'm just going to jump forward just a little bit, is, for instance, let's say that, urban settings tend to have more demand because of the population bases for getting information, getting the upgrades to software, if you will, getting upgrades to infrastructure, if you will, all of those things. Rural areas, less populated, less dense, they tend to take a little longer. That's just how it works. So, in the sense of interconnectivity, the rural areas, and all of the different things that happen, it just takes a little extra time. Well, and we're going to see that today, that the Kurdistan region was probably the laggard. And why I say that is because they're not really completely clear about how it works and how they have rolled things out, if you will, for lack of better terms. But the movement that they've done creatively has been from the thickness of the population base out. And that's what they needed to do. And I think they've done that. In our Patreon room at patreon.com/MMANDCREW, you're going to find that there's a little bit of a snippet for about 50 seconds or so, or a minute, of an audio that I posted today. And there's a video. It's a translation from someone who speaks the language, and is educated and a business owner. So respect that. So that's his opinion. His name's Shaw. Okay. There's another gentleman in our room because we have people that are global. Militia Man and Crew is around the world. So that's why some of our rules are in place, is because we have to cater to a lot of people and have to be respectful. And that's what we try to do. So having opinions sometimes is great. Freedom of speech is great. Of course all of that is. But some things just get to the stage where we have to have Gigi. She does a fabulous job. She does her chit-chat room. She has that set up for everybody when the content's moving fast and forward, so that's great. And obviously we have the great Samson who does her news work. But the cool part too is that most everybody understands that there's certain topics that are just, you know what, we're talking about the study of the Iraqi dinar. In this particular case, in our study as we're doing tonight. We don't get off on too much of a tangent, but the cool part is too is that, hey, we all know that there's political sides to everything, but this isn't a case where, hey, it's been ongoing for decades, okay? But the cool thing too is that now we're seeing, hey, we're seeing some movement, and we saw that weeks ago, okay? So to me, we're going to see more because of the fact is that Iraq is ready to show that, again, they opened the Port of Fa. What's that? That's international business. Those ships don't just come in for fun. They're going to need to clear the rail. They're going to have content that they're going to have over the rail. They need to get paid for that. How are they going to get paid for it? That's where we're at this stage. We haven't seen the 2024 budget yet. We know that they're talking about the 2023, 24, 25 budget, but we also know for a fact what they've put in print is that they needed to have the final accounts for the 23, 24 budget. And we see today that they're talking about news about that. They haven't done it yet. But if you read the article, find it in Patreon, easy to do, you'll see that they use, and I highlight it, they used until now. Ever since 6, 7 years, 8 years ago, since I've been pretty, vocal and out in on the internet, for instance, I have noticed that pattern until now. So we see articles that talk about specifics, that talk about all kinds of things. We get disinformation, we get fake news, we get real stuff, we get articles blended with real factual data and complete utter nonsense. It happens. It takes a long time to decipher that stuff. Is that on purpose? I would say 100%. 100%. Could it be shoddy journalism? Yeah, could be. Could it be absolutely timed for accordingly? Would the central bank have any issues with it? Would the government have any issues with it? Have they have any input? Each, as I said, the finance ministry, they put out information. Opinions galore. What Militia Man and Crew try to do is to bring in what we feel is as relevant as possible. And again, what we do is I bring you the news as best I can. And I guess we just have to keep grinding through it, and I think we are. And I think that's a good thing. So back to the villages in the rural areas, they're catching up. So why are we talking about this? It says during the last 2 years, the progress in terms of increasing financial inclusion, the use of bank accounts, especially after the government decisions regarding increasing the use of electronic payments. Okay, we know that the Kurds were behind. So they say there are many citizens who have bank cards or bank accounts, and the use of electronic payment is increasingly clear and clearly, gradually, okay, being reflected in the financial inclusion rate, which is, they show, about 48%. It's risen significantly. Okay, so they've been moving from the urban areas to the rural areas, and again reached a level of about a 48% increase. Okay. They go on to say that they're doing this and these radical improvements, I guess, right? They're going to get greater attention to the, now we're seeing it. It says they're doing it to ensure enhancing confidence in the financial and banking sectors, facilitating the process of an economic development, increasing the financial inclusion, and raising its indicators throughout the country, because most of the activities were concentrated in the capital, like I just said. They started in Baghdad, they started in the most populous areas, and they've graduated to the rural areas. They have, like, I think there's 6 different topics that they go over if you want to read them. Increasing number of bank branches, we all know that. We talked about ATM machines, points of sales, electronic cards, we've done all that. Adopting modern technologies, emphasizing the bank's importance of developing their financial services to suit the individual's needs. So they're talking about small businesses, soft loans, savings accounts. It's enhancing financial inclusion through the governance, and they're not just talking about one segment of society. They're inclusive in districts, sub-districts, villages, and the rural areas, okay? So ultimately, what are they going to be doing? They're going to make awareness. They're going to have awareness campaigns. They're going to be teaching people. They're going to be calling people on the phone. They're going to be doing all kinds of things, which has been underway, according to our dear friends Shah and Hafid. They concur that the people on the ground are totally aware of it's time to get your bank account. Time. Now. If you haven't already, you better hurry up. Again, that's going to come back to what? Al-Sudani said he was going to have a dinar stronger than the dollar. And you see articles now talking about the black market, the parallel market. You see articles talking about how much saturation they have in with real trade, real commercial trade. In other words, they're using the real platform. Okay? They're moving away from the black market. The citizens are realizing that they're going to, if they get caught short, they're going to be out of luck. And they're going to lose out on a lot of money. So basically, they're keeping the financial inclusion and banking fresh in the news right now. It's an ongoing process, but literally, you guys, since Al-Sudani has been in office for 2 years, it's flat out amazing. I have an audio again today on about this topic specifically. And think about it when you listen to it. Come in, if you're not a member, come in, take a look. It's, stick around for 30 days and see if you guys enjoy it. I think you will. But let's see what happens in the next little short period, right? Because ultimately the citizens have been educated, being educated, and it's working. 48% in a very short period of time is a big percentage. It's kind of like XRP and another currency or crypto that popped today to the extent of about 40-50% almost. It's because why? Because the blockchain is going to be attractive to investors. Why? Because what did these guys talk about? Al-Sudani and Trump talked about, or the President of the United States, forgive me, elect, okay, is talking about money, energy, okay, technology. Well, those things that are happening right now in the world, our markets are looking good. They're positive at the moment. Everything seems to be pretty stable. They brag about how stable Iraq is. You got the largest entities in the world in Iraq, the Development Road Project. They're having partnerships in Iraq. So I think everybody knows that you're probably relatively sold on the fact that reality is setting now. It's coming to fruition. That's literally what I see. If you don't see it and you think it's blah, blah, blah from 20 years ago, well, then you need to, you know what? Pull your head out of the sand because it's obvious. It's obvious what we're seeing. So here's an article that's called Al-Awadi, the communication between the Prime Minister and the U.S. President was highly positive. So again, Iraq is invoking conversation about having a relationship with the United States. It says that the two, Mohammed Shia al-Sudani and the President-elect, was highly positive. The Prime Minister welcomed the president's statements about stopping the war in the region. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing. I'm all for it. And it's announced its readiness to participate in the path to maintain stability. So they want to have a stable place. The citizens of Iraq want stability. Investors want stability. Okay, the two parties have a keenness to communicate by phone, which reflects the mutual desire between Baghdad and Washington to maintain a high level of understanding and communication and push relations to higher levels. Okay, remember, al-Sudani was in Washington just recently, months ago. I think it was in September or was it late August. Was it there doing what? Having good relations with the United States of America. Factored, so it, again, strategic framework, it's been around. Iraq has been working with our government and our U.S. Treasury as far as banking and financing and technology, money, everything for 21 years real close. So keep that in mind. But listen to this. Baghdad and Washington have been able since 2011, so fast forward about 8 years. But until now, again, there's that wording, until now, to build solid infrastructure for relations based on technical and professional committees in a clear roadmap starting with the Strategic Framework Agreement that we've mentioned, the Joint Cooperation Committee, which was called the JCC, if you guys remember that, the Higher Coordination Committee, right, which is the HCC, and the Joint Security Dialogue Committee, the JSCD, acronym city, that's definitely American, you guys. Well, in my view it is anyway. In addition to the role of the foreign ministers of the two countries and the role of ambassadors and the continuation of hotlines to the International Relations Committees and the Prime Minister's Office of Iraq, Prime Minister of Iraq. And this is crowned by the communication between the Prime Minister and the senior U.S. administration officials. Each of these committees plays its role in professional, technical manner far from political influences, strengthening the reality of the relationship between the two countries. I mean, that they hammer it home for you, right? So again, even though it is political, but it's still about Iraq. It's still about the economics. It's still about the growth. It's about the expectations. It's about their community merging, integrating, having interconnectivity with the global regions of local and abound. The Development Road Project is going to connect a lot of different countries, you guys. It's a big project, and it's going to take a lot of effort. And obviously with what we're seeing at the Port of Fa, for instance, it's underway. Okay, so it says certainly the political relationships between Baghdad and Washington have gone through a state of ups and downs. Of course, that's what we talk about. But the solid foundation, the mutual readiness for joint work, and good intentions have always adjusted the level of decline and or push forward. See, isn't that brilliant? Again, so it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. Well, in this particular case, all of us collectively in the U.S., if you're thinking about making some money and having an investment, I think we're in the right place because it's been a collective on both sides of the aisle in our country. So once again, the two sides affirmed their desire to advance the strategic partnerships between these two countries and strengthen bilateral relationships in ways that go beyond the security aspect. They are going to be close cooperation in the fields of economy, finance, energy, and technology. And what's going to happen in the near future? The two are looking forward to meeting soon. When? Don't know. It's okay. But obviously what I said before was that these guys have been communicating with the United States Treasury, the U.S. Federal Reserve. It didn't just happen yesterday. It's all been underway for about 2 decades. The article that's out too is about there's an agreement with Hisab, the trade bank of Iraq, and what are they doing? They're opening 2 new branches to install dozens and dozens of ATM machines in Kurdistan. So remember what we talked about. They finished the urban areas. A large portion of the Kurdistan area is more rural. as far as I understand it. The Hisabi team and the Trade Bank of Iraq have reached an agreement to speed up employee registration and card distribution procedures, as well as install ATMs across the Kurdistan region to facilitate cash withdrawals. Okay, so if you guys think about it, that audio that's in Patreon, you might want to interconnect with that, okay? On Sunday, November 3rd, 2024, so that's been some time ago, it says that the Iraqi Trade Bank announced the signing of a contract with the Hisabi project to localize the salaries of the employees of the Kurdistan region, directly related to what we learned today. There's a video out. It goes with the audio in Patreon that talks directly to this. The signing comes in line with the decision of the Federal Supreme Court, based on the directives of the Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani regarding the necessity of the Iraqi Trade Bank's participation in the process of localizing the salaries of employees in the Kurdistan region. My view, from what I understand, done, according to the video and the translation to it. And so they go on here and say, below are some of the services provided by my account, which is the electronic account that they have there in the Kurdistan region that is to be interlinked with the Unified Treasury account to some degree, or flat out straight up, because they have been localized, it's been completed. Okay, it says you can access hundreds of ATMs and withdraw at all the users' money at once and for free. So they're obviously, that sounds like an incentive. The devices are available 24 hours, 7 days a week. 24/7, 7 days a week. Remember that? A variety of different bank loans can be attained. Advances can be attained. I mean, if you're going to get a guaranteed money coming in every single month, lenders are going to look at you like, hey, you need a little extra, you need a little advance to get you through? Be happy to help you. It says debit cards can be used to make purchases online, international, right? Through card readers known as point of sale. Pretty obvious. We have all those. Everybody does. Are they getting in line with the countries of the world? Absolutely. The next thing, number 5, the system allows safe and reliable money transfers inside and outside the country. Come on, isn't that international? Isn't that cross-border payments? Isn't that something that has to do with Article 8 compliance? Pretty sure it's going to have an effect. You can access the bank's mobile application to follow up on your account movements, receive notifications on your phone when salaries arrive. We've heard that before, haven't we? Well, they're sticking to it. And they're about ready to, I guess, this weekend, every day, when, well, we're going to see what the results are. So far, they're suggesting they've got this system in place. And if they're activating that system and there's a time limit on it, they're going to have to get vocal. And I'm pretty sure the citizens have already started to talk about it. That's what we get from our good friend Hafid and our friend Shah from contacts in Iraq. So let's see how it goes. Is there some time still for the Kurds to get completely finished? I don't know. The video that they have out today suggests that they've completed it. So let's see if that holds true, or if we have the context right or not, is to be determined. We're just going to have to see, okay? When the currency hits the Forex, I think everybody's going to have an awakening. I know that I will. All right, so the docks of Al-Fa. Why is that important? Well, they're telling us a story of the future. And what is that story? Obviously, the collective is going to be about Iraq and the Development Road Project, moving goods from the east to the west and to the north. And that is going to be powerful because the fact is it's saving shipping time and it's moving massive amounts of goods into Europe eventually. And that's going to be back and forth. So it says here the Grand Fa Port project has entered into actual implementation. It says, finally, the Port of Fa enters the world of international trade and put Iraq's name on the map of the global economy. We hope this step is that mark of the beginning and not the end, as they put it. It says too, at the port of Alpha, the cost, which was about $5 billion thus far, has already begun receiving large commercial ships on its new docks. Okay, international ships, they need money to be paid for the goods and services that they do, and trust me on this one, it's not going to be completely utilized through oil sales to pay for all that stuff. It's not. Association of Banks is considered granting privileges to electronic card users. This is a really interesting one because why? They're talking about some privileges that they might be getting. They might be getting some gifts and some competitions and reduction in payments in currencies to motivate the acquisition of the electronic card. That audio suggests, okay, back up. Audio I already mentioned, but that's okay, is here some evidence of what I'm talking about to give support to that audio and that video we put out, is that it suggests that that's exactly what they did. And this is what I've been told without having to be too public about everything, because we vet things. We at Militia Man and Crew try to do the best that we can to have everything in print. Not always the case, but in this particular case, I'm going to say I can attest to that. We learned about this a little while ago, days and weeks ago, not too many weeks, but a very short period of time. But the government stressed the need for economic and financial reform in the country, and the measures taken in this regard are ongoing. It says the need to expand banking awareness campaigns and notify the citizens of the importance of working with banks, turning money from banking channels to ensure that they do not go abroad. Like I said, the phone calls, the people, call centers calling people, openly word of mouth around the country can make all the difference in the world. I mean, there's a lot of people that do business without ever advertising. Because why? Because they provide good quality service, good quality communication, and the word gets out. And that's really positive growth. Okay, the country is witnessing a revolution, they use, in the field of banking technologies and electronic payments, and all citizens are supposed to have a bank account. Oh, here comes the time frame possibly, that is handled through a mobile phone or any other means. So that's the implication. Some citizens still prefer to deal with direct cash, but their intentions to grant some privileges such as gifts, competitions, and reduction in payment fees to motivate the acquisition of the electronic card are huge. I don't care if they're giving out 25% off a loaf of bread, if they're discounting electricity. Those are the things that we're hearing. And of course, if they get a new barbecue, a new toaster, I mean, they're going to get kinds of motivating factors. I think Petra said that, hey, we have here in America the George Foreman barbecue. Why not? Could you imagine we could send over 40 million of those so they could use them for gifts to get the enticement of the citizens, because we all have an interest in Iraq's success. Being light, you guys. But that's cool. All right. So keep that in mind. We have another article about the Prime Minister. Advisors announced the mechanisms for supporting the U.S. Treasury. Remember, the United States Treasury, we talked about that. They've been around since 2003. Basically, back in, let's call it 2003, U.S. Treasury succeeded in supporting the financing of infrastructure in Iraq. The conference held in the Spanish capital, Madrid, was on October 23rd, 2023. But basically, if you move forward through 2026 and so on, basically what they were saying in this article is that they were pointing out the history of important assistance provided by the United States Treasury. It had an important role in replacing the international edition of the dinar. So they're talking about replacing the currency according to the highest international technical specifications. So all those little pink notes with all those fascinating color marks and watermarks, all of it, okay? That's what they did. Replacing the fast-fading local edition back in the past, probably the Saddam era, which I believe is true. Okay, it says all of it had been done between the issuance of the currency, etc., between late 2003 and early 2004. So that's about the time that they discontinued the Saddam Hussein, I think, currency. He stresses that the signing of the Strategic Framework Agreement in 2008, up until now, there have been ongoing consultations. So they've been working on this between representatives of the financial and monetary authorities in our country and the United States Treasury to cooperate in combating what? Money laundering, crime, terrorism, in a way that achieves governance and compliance with our financial and banking apparatus, as well as the optimal integration with the global financial and economic climate, Powerful. Because that basically just tells you what we've been saying. This is just a reiteration of it, is that this is in writing, you guys. This is from them, and this has been ongoing for years. Again, like I said, it just didn't get started yesterday. It's been ongoing for 20 years. And we're finally at that stage where they're completing the process. And again, why not just embrace that and say, wow, we are close, so let's pay a little more close attention to what we expect. So to hear one more point, won't beat a dead horse, you guys, but here, Association of Banks, $28 billion of dinars, 28 billion dinars are withdrawn daily from the informal market. Well, I'm not sure if you guys know what an informal market is, but an informal market is outside regulatory bodies. In other words, it's illegal. Is it a functioning tool? Yes. Is it a cancer on the citizens? Yeah. Why? Because if you can get at the official rate at 1,320 and you have to pay 1,500 dinar to get a dollar, you're getting ripped off. But if you're doing illicit work and it's illegal, you're going to pay a premium to get those dollars. Well, this article here is talking about probably drying that up. Private bank associations confirmed today this was yesterday on Saturday, that no less than 28 billion dinars are withdrawn daily from the informal market. So that's a lot of dinars that were withdrawn. Okay, so ultimately, where is it going with this? As I stated, 1320 USD to the price of 1,500. It's a lot of money that's being taken from the citizens. It's kind of an inflationary situation for them, but if you're working outside the legal parameters, you're going to have a problem. Well, guess what? Once the dollars run out because of there's no more smuggling going on, the new digital transformation has taken place, the new systems in place, the dollar itself in the country is going to dry up quickly. They changed the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar to be stronger than the US dollar. That market's going to tank, and a lot of people are going to get painfully hurt. They're bad. They've been warned. Al-Sudani just didn't talk about this 2 weeks ago. The black market, to me, parallel market, okay, even though they focused in on it for so long, is that you got to think about the corruption in the media. They weren't telling you the parallel market was an illegal market 5 years ago or 10 years ago. They didn't tell you that. Bottom line, black market's about to take a beating. Supply is running short with the dollars, and they've been put on notice. And that push to get the citizens' money into the banks through the Kurdistan region, if that is true, that has been completed as they portray, it looks positive for all of us, you guys. So thank you for being with me this evening on Sunday, and thank you for all your support, you guys. It's been awesome, and then everybody's outpouring for Ophelia. She's going to be missed. Our Totoro, if you guys remember her, she's going to be missed, of course. But we have Winnie and Wally, and they're thriving, which is fascinating. And to those that reached out to us today about your animals, the 3 that passed in a very short period of time, trust me on this one. Prayers are up for you too, and we understand what a family's about. And those little extensions called pets are part of the world. Hey, so everybody, like and subscribe if you do really appreciate the content. That goes a long way. And also, everybody, set up your notifications, because when we do a video audios, etc., you get notified, and that way everybody's on the same page, and you'll see where the action's coming from. Militia Man and Crew out. Once again, guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you like this content. Subscribe to the channel or join us at the Militia Man and Crew Patreon community for even more exclusive content. You can also donate to this channel by hitting the links in the banner to help keep this page up and running. Your generous support is greatly appreciated, as always. Much appreciated. Thank you so much and have a great day.